Hello. Hello. And welcome to streams. Boom. Music. Well, there's a gap at the moment. There we go. Yeah. Hi. Welcome. It's a doodle stream. We're gonna be doodling. So yeah, I guess we should hop on over to Doodle. We don't need that today. There it goes. Yeah. Doodles. So what am I doing? What am I doodling? Oh, what was it, Friday? Is it Friday? Something like that. Sunday this week, I started drawing my characters in the costumes of various incarnations of the Doctor from Doctor Who, and I'm going to carry on doing that. I guess I can show off the three I have done already. Where are we? Well, okay, there's the first one. I'm doing these in the style that I did the drawings for my covers, because it's quick and simple. Yeah, so there's Stoic as the first Doctor, there's Pal as the second, because Recorder, obviously. There's Blob Friend, who is now called Flynn Flam, as the third Doctor, and now we're going to do the fourth, which, since the fourth Doctor's costume is about 90% scarf, I'm going to give that to M. So I'm drawing M at the moment. I haven't drawn M for quite some time, so I may need some a little bit of time to refresh. I also haven't drawn anything today, so that's always a good meme. I'm thinking of some sort of big old M pose. Stone Friend finally has a name. Yes, Flynn Flam. Yeah. So that's because I'm mature and highly intelligent. Maybe not. Maybe. Like that. Anyway, how you doing, Ragdoll? You alright? You having a good Sunday? It's a miss as well. I also like how in my bot emotes turn up as question marks because it doesn't know how to display them. So, Just Miss Art, according to my bot, just said, "Good evening." Which is a weird way to say that, but there we are. Actually, yeah, we have that. I'm gonna have. How are we all doing? Are we having a good Sunday? It is Sunday, isn't it? A little more. Is it a good evening? I don't know. You tell me. It's sort of difficult to get M's head to point in a particular direction because the eyes aren't there to give you an indicator. But it's 1 PM here, so no, that's fair enough. Yeah, how do you draw M? Haven't drawn M for a while, and that in and of itself is a significant shame. Also haven't drawn anything today. Just going to reiterate that. It's been a good day. Did a great walk. I saw you have like. Can I live where you live, please? That would be great. Thank you. Like I live not too far away from some countryside, but that countryside is itself flanked by people and places that people live. So I have a small section of countryside, and then just towns and roads and the. It's gonna get like that. Da-da. Come live where I live, in a place where you can run away from humanity for a bit. By for a bit, can I substitute the words for a bit with for life? That would be great. Thank you very much. I have often thought about, you know, if and when I have the means, moving to Scotland might not be such a bad idea. No particular love lost for England. But then again, I'm viewing it with a distant rose-tinted binoculars. But let's have a clutch there. So, grabbing onto the scarves. Big old loopy scarves. That. Swish swish. I don't really know what the rest of this outfit looks like. There are several, I believe. There's the earlier sort of bohemian one, and then there's the more red later one. I don't know, I never realised he's wearing a tie or a cravat or something. Big scarf. Hem hair. I'm waiting to work out what's going on with the hat as well, because they've got that kind of Toulouse-Lautrec sort of thing going on.
Hugo.
Oh, you try, don't you? Hi, Jib. How do you, Jib? How's your evening going? I'm fairly sure it's evening where you are. Haven't drawn M in so long. Too long. Just enough space for the mouth. It is evening where you are. How did you know? Oh, something to do with time, I think. I don't know. Wibbly wobbly, etc. So, you never get sort of hat brim things to look right or good or anything. I'm a time sorceress as well, absolutely. I too can write terrible storylines. Outliers coming soon. TM. TM sorcerers. Big old scarves. Also, fingers tend not to be quite that long. Yeah. I discovered some interesting things today, and by interesting, I mean not particularly interesting, but interesting to me, so it's interesting. I bought myself some presents, because I fancied having some presents. I returned a sustain pedal back when the saga of trying to work out what was going on with my keyboard was happening. I ordered a sustain pedal, and it turns out I didn't need it, and it wasn't very good, so I returned it. And a month later, it actually arrived. Thank you, Brexit. And it, I got the refund, and I thought, oh, I want to buy some nice things. So I bought, well, we didn't finish Final Fantasy yet. Insert image of Rufus with the conspiracy theory board. I mean, yeah. Yeah, he'd get lost, wouldn't he? Honestly, he'd still be stuck on the whole space potato thing. Why is it flying? Yeah. Was the outside architecture connected to the inside? Is that because it's the same architecture as the summon that's supposed to be an ancient thing, but it was made by Norg? Did Norg know that it was an ancient architecture thing? Why did he design it like that? Etc. etc. Yes, Frame Man, please. I know. Sorry, wrong stream. Yeah. So I bought myself, being the slightly nerdy person that I am, some nice dice. And a nice pack of cards, because I don't think I have ever bought dice or cards. I've just accepted the ones that I've gotten from, you know, childhood games or just other people giving me packs of cards or whatever. Like, I wanted some nice ones. If I'm going to be, you know, spending time designing games in my spare time, I'm going to get some nice cards. And turns out, a couple of things are interesting about that. Firstly, turns out I'm really picky about fonts on dice. Don't know why. Spent like 2 hours looking at dice to try and find ones that I liked the fonts of but were also readable. Who'd get stuck at the orphanage of plot convenience? Like, I think everyone else in the Outliers is just grateful Rufus didn't get that far. Me? Picky sounds fake. I know. But yeah, just took absolutely ages. But I found some in the end. And they were quite cheap. Actually, I did find some relatively early, but they were also made of metal, and I don't like the idea of standing on those, particularly the D4. So yeah, I have some nice new dice coming, and I've also got some nice packs of cards coming, and in doing so, I found out there are several companies that make nice packs of cards. And one of the unusual things about that is that some of them have fantastic design sensibilities and just loads of cool ideas for ways cards should look and so on and so forth. But almost none of them have different looking picture cards. And they do the aces, they redesign the aces, they do the jokers, they do the backs of the cards, they do the boxes of the cards, but the jacks, queens and kings, identical to every other set of cards. And it's like, why? Just drives me nuts. So yeah, fonts and picture cards in a deck of cards. That turns out those are hills I will get angry on. Yeah. But what I found, there was a company, what are they called? It's got 11 in the name. Hang on, let me have a look. 11. Theory 11. I recommend you look up their website. They have very good card aesthetic, if you know what I mean. That kind of traditional Art Deco style kind of thing. You have a gorgeous pack of cards with art based on a novel you love. Absolutely stunning, and you cry when you look at it. No, that's great. So yeah, Theory 11, they have lots of cool stuff, but what I found is they have like cards designed with like brand deals, which in some senses I understand. They've got like, oh, there's a Star Wars deck, and there's a Mandalorian deck. There's a MailChimp deck, which if you don't know, MailChimp is like a email newsletter company. That was a weird one. Darren Brown, I understand that, that's cool. Neil Patrick Harris has his own deck on there. Jimmy Fallon? Like, they all look nice. Don't get me wrong, they all look nice, I'm just confused. Yeah. And again, all the jacks, queens and kings, they look identical. It's very annoying. Posture, thank you. So what have we got going on with this coat then? It's a very similar sort of lapels coming in. I guess sort of, I can have another wrap around here. But yeah, but I have some nice cards. I do want to design my own deck at some point. Because I find many decks slightly... If you're a creative person and you want to get something and you can't find anything that satisfies your own personal tastes, you automatically think, I want to make one. One should exist like what is in my brain. And then you realise how hard it is to do that. And you're like, oh, I see. I see why it's hard. I see why people haven't done it before. But yeah, I've looked into printing decks of cards before for the little games that I make, but unless you're going to try and print out just a normal 52 card deck, it gets quite expensive. Yep. Hang on, let me bring this one in a bit. Anyway, what's everyone else been doing with their Sunday? Apart from walking. Apart from taking nice walks in places I wish I could be. Is the soundtrack a bit quiet? I think it's just quiet. I think it's just a game. I've got the FTL soundtrack, by the way. That seemed spacey. I'm not playing the Doctor Who soundtrack, that's for sure. Did I mention I listened to the Doctor Who soundtrack recently and found it underwhelming? Like, it works in the context of the show, but just as something to listen to, it's nah. I think I'm just getting pickier as time goes on. You like the Doctor Who soundtrack? Like the Doctor Who soundtrack would be copyrighted. I know, it's bizarre. It's the BBC. Surely that means it's free, right? I think you did mention that at some point. That's fair. Although to be fair to Murray Gold, who had to make 10 years of Doctor Who music, he had to make 10 years of Doctor Who music. So I imagine I would start getting a little bit, you know, uninteresting after a while. But like I remember, like, oh, there's the, you know, everyone has like soft spot for the music in Doomsday, and I went back and listened to that, and I'm like, this is a bit boring, isn't it? It's like a sort of a Radiohead B-side that wasn't included on the album because it wasn't interesting enough. BBC rhymes with free, so you think you're onto something. Interesting. It is dark. Hello. It is actually. Yes. Streetlights are on. Yeah. All of the early Doctors have such sensible shoes. And I can't draw sensible shoes. Such is the way of things. Oh, here we go. His sound. Lovely. You've brought your influence into the world. Hi. Oh, it's Christy. Hello. We're talking about copyright again? Tangentially. Mostly we're talking about why Neil Patrick Harris has branded playing cards. So nice. Shiny boots. A bit further back. That. In and then out. Then round for the toe. Sure, why not? And then there's like laces and stuff. Zip. Streetlights or forest fire? Who's to say? I mean, was it this time last year that the forest behind my house was set on fire? I can't remember. Was I streaming when that was happening? Maybe. Oh no, I stopped. I didn't stream that night because of that. Why wouldn't the streetlights be on? No, I was just saying that it's dark. Don't worry about it. Council didn't do the bins for the entirety of XCOM, so why would they help with the streetlights? I know, it's terrible. Apparently M has no ankles. Don't worry about it. It's got like rolled up trousers, which is quite nice. I'm going for an early costume here. Looks a little bit Rupert the Bear, but that kind of suits them. For those of you who missed the memo, I'm drawing my characters as in the costumes from various incarnations of Doctor Who. Or various incarnations of the Doctor from Doctor Who. If you don't specify those things, nerds get angry. Damn the XCOM Council, they never do anything for the community. I know. Super cozy outfit. It's great, it's got loads of layers. Does look like him? Yeah, it looks like him. Yep. And of course, standard standard fare. A good old bag of jelly babies. I kind of want to go like that, really. There's some people I watch on Twitch. Your very expensive new 6-month bound by 5G internet is being a big old poop. Oh no. How dare. Keep trying, but maybe I have to watch stuff on. Oh, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Either the term for Who fans are Whovians, or there's like 3 good episodes. There's loads of good episodes. There's also a lot of bad episodes. It is, in essence, an anthology show, and as a consequence, it's going to be very hit and miss. You know? I will say the same thing about Inside Number 9, one of my other favourite shows. It's amazing. It's also terrible. This isn't a hand. What's going on here? He does look like he's wearing a shirt underneath this. So, sort of do that whole thing. I'm going to put this somewhere else now. Okay, so it's got this sort of bobbly tassel thing going on. I feel like that leg should be longer, probably. The seam. Also, that wouldn't actually be going up, would it? Just be sort of sticking out like that. That glockenspiel is piercing. You still don't believe exists and you planted those images. What? Who? Garbage TV can be good. Your niece just tried to talk you into watching X on the Beach. Interesting. And you have as many episodes of Doctor Who, something is bound to suck eventually. Absolutely. M is a long human, that is true. M is a very long. I seem to remember what, like, one of the earliest, when I still didn't know what I was doing with any of my characters, one of the earliest comics I did with M was, she was sort of vaguely supernatural in ways I didn't bother specifying. She made friends with shadow puppets. Anyway, one of the ideas was that she was made in like a ritual from somebody else's shadow, but it was like dusk, so the sun was quite low, so she ended up being a lot taller than they intended to be. And good news, you and Chief's got Valheim working for her. Yes, fingers crossed. Yes. Inside Number 9. What? Images? Imogen? Give me this storyline. It was a while ago. I don't know if I got those comics. Yeah, I think like the first comics I ever made with M were just sort of vaguely like, yeah, making friends with shadow puppets, and you know, there was one. She used to really. I completely forgot about this. She used to really like slinkies. That was part of her thing. And one of the early comics was just her putting being at the top of the stairs, sending a slinky down, and then by the time it got to the bottom, she was already down at the bottom. So I always had in the back of my mind that she was vaguely supernatural, and that just sort of went nowhere, so I didn't end up. Why am I giving that a lip? I'm not using my reference at all. There doesn't appear to be any lip on this coat. Am I going to go with the dark coat or the light coat? Or the bright red one? I'll go bright red. We'll go bright red. Why not? You want vaguely supernatural shadow. I brought to your knees that you said interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, Inside Number 9's good. It's weird, but it's good. It's also very dark, so be prepared. Is there anything else to add to this? There's sort of buttons on the waistcoat. So this has got like a checkerboard pattern, sort of Rupert the Bear style. Yeah, that should probably be like that. Hang on, which way do things button? Left over top. Cool. I was about to ask a question as to why women's clothes button on the other way round, but I think I already know the answer to that. It's because traditionally people clothed women rather than them being able to put on their own clothes. Because, you know, historical misogyny. Yes, depends if it's a men's or a women's shirt, yeah. I'm going for the original costume, which is a men's. Never thought about that. I mean, that's what I've heard, whether it's accurate or not. That arm doesn't make any sense. That's fine. I never did make that, did I? I was going to call it drop corn. Yeah, like beyond the sort of slightly cravatty tie thing and the big scarf, it's not all that weird costume, to be honest. Yeah, I think these trousers should be a little wibblier. Well, let's have this flopping down, actually. Give a sense of weight. Or a sense of excess material, at the very least. Something like going along that way or something, roughly. No, not that rough. Roughly, but not that rough. No, that's why the leg is, because that first pass forward I was right first time. The silhouette didn't look right, but it does make some sort of physical sense. Sure, why not? We'll go with it. Okay, now, well, actually, I still don't like this hand, to be honest, but it's probably because the perspective's all over the place. So yeah, has anyone watched the new series of Doctor Who, and are they any good? I've heard mixed things. I've heard a lot of things are good apart from the writing. But then again, I always hear that the writing's bad, so... and I still enjoy it. Yeah, I've not. You remember watching the first episode with Capaldi and then kind of dropped off. Yeah, that was not a good series. It did have one of my favourite episodes in it. Mummy on the Orient Express, which is as ridiculous as it sounds, but actually good. And there was also, Flatline? That was good. Time Heist was cheesy and fun. And also gave us the phrase, shut-itty up, up, up. Listen was interesting. And it introduced us to Missy, which I will never feel bad about. But other than that, it was terrible. Remember seeing him play electric guitar? Probably not in the first episode, because that was set in Victorian London. Maybe the first episode of Series 10? That was called The Pilot. They tried to sort of do a soft reboot, as it were. So like, hey, if you've never seen Doctor Who before, you can watch from now. Which was it worked well. Started with Matt Smith, fell in love, so watched from the first of the newer ones, and that's it. Cool. Le shrug. Matt Smith, I really enjoyed Matt Smith when it happened. But looking back, there's something slightly odd about the kind of overt childishness of his character. I don't know. It's again, I got used to Capaldi, and looking back at Matt Smith is like the polar opposite. Okay, part 2 of this. How are we gonna make this work? You will always hate the werewolf episode. That's acceptable. But the royal family turned out to be werewolves. Yeah. I was watching a behind the scenes thing recently, and the effects team were really proud of that episode. It's like, that's a shame. But it was set in Scotland. How can you not like it? There were jokes about Scottish accents. And it introduced Torchwood, which was the something. But it was so bad it was. Yeah, Doctor Who, I should specify, Doctor Who's always had bad episodes. The classic series doubly so. But also I've recently found out that my parents have a subscription to BritBox, which I might possibly nick, because that has every episode of Old Who on it. Was it as bad as the vampires? Ooh. That was also a bad. Let's go. Worst episodes of Modern Who. What do we got? I mean, I vote Kill the Moon. Obviously. We have the vampires, we have the werewolves. Pretty much anything that involves typical horror, really. I'm really proud of this thing I made. That's too bad. Like, no, it's like you can be proud of something that ultimately didn't serve a good script. Like, I know some people I follow some people online like Adam Savage and whatnot, and they worked on the Star Wars prequels, and they put so much effort into it, and they're really, really proud, and they should be. They've made some fantastic things, but ultimately the stories just weren't great. It's not their fault. They did really good work. That's why I like behind the scenes things, because it doesn't matter whether the thing that it's behind the scenes of is good. You just get to see people working really hard on really cool things. I have watched more behind the scenes things of making of films than I have films. Like, you want to be a part of the conversation, Internet? No! Internet, stop it. I haven't dropped that much on my end, unfortunately, so that means I can't fix it. Almost banned Christy. Don't do that. That's the opposite of what we want to happen. Here, I will solve the problem of you not being able to see parts of the stream. You can now not see any of the stream. Have a good day. Oh yeah, okay. So how am I going to do this? This is an idea I have in my head. I have no idea if it's going to work, but I want to give it a go. That's not the thing I want reference for. Probably deserved it at some point. No, you did not. Right. So I am going to that. Does M get a K9? Kind of. How am I gonna do this? Doesn't work. Maybe we just keep the general feel of it. So we have the robe. No, the robe. That's yeah. I've given things away. It's great. Don't give me a secret to keep. I'm bad at it. Still trying to work out how to make this. This is kind of backwards, actually, now that I think about it. Does it have a boopable snoot? Maybe. Maybe I should do this. Maybe hang on. Okay, so this is my character's in the costume of another thing. So maybe this is not the right way around to be doing it. Maybe what I should be doing is Canine's a weird shape. It does have a collar, now that I look at it. Never noticed that. You think you've drawn K9 before? Congratulations. You mastered the art of geometry. So yeah, I wanted some sort of K9 Tonberry thing going on. I wouldn't necessarily say Tonberries are my character, but I do occasionally draw Dharma, which is what the name I gave to my little plush Tonberry. So then it'll have like some face paint, like red there, and so we're gonna do a steb. Doctor Who Trivia, you actually know is when they brought the first K9 in, they brought in loads of voice changing machines, then realised the voice actor was doing it all himself. Well, there you go. I know Nicholas Briggs goes nowhere without his Mooga Fuga. Or is it Moga Foga? Don't know. Knife K9 instead of Knife Roomba, yes. I guess instead of a lantern, maybe it's got like a flashlight. Torch. What have you. Blip, 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 blip. I'll leave it. Okay, cool. He's Mooga Fuga. It's a ring modulator. And it's what you do to make the Dalek voice. And Nicholas Briggs is the person who currently does the voices of the Daleks, and he will not let anybody not know that. To be fair, he does a good job. He's also one of the founding members of Big Finish. Is that the boopable snoot? I mean, it's a snoot, kind of. It usually has like a laser coming out of it, doesn't it? A very low effect laser, just a line drawn on the screen. Just like, here is the laser. Bleh. 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 Like that. The word lantern triggered the This Little Light of Mine song in my head. Please. Oh no, a Tonbury singing This Little Light of Mine as it comes closer to you. Oh, I love it. Okay, there we go. Got K9 Tonbury and 4th Doctor M. Let us see how wonky this is by flipping it around. Okay. Problem with drawing both M and Tom Baker is that their hair is so voluminous that you don't know where to put the hat. Also, that eyebrow doesn't really go there, does it? Try and put it at least over where the eye should be. It should be like. Ah. Usually I do draw M's eyes if I'm drawing M, but this is a quick doodle. She's also very off balance. That can be fixed very easily, of course. Blip. Let me do that after scooching you forward a bit. Blip, blip. There you go. Got to get the center of gravity right, which is about there, I guess, roughly. That should be roughly where the foot is. You're banning Chippy. Other than that, it doesn't seem absolutely dire. So, well, the hand doesn't really line up, does it? There's a shirt of some kind. Yeah, quite a lot. What I've discovered is that quite a lot of the costumes of the early Doctors, there's a lot in common. There's, you know, it's only when you look back that you realise just how like kind of revolutionary they went with Christopher Eccleston's leather jacket and t-shirt. You know. So what do you mean he doesn't have a long frock coat and a, you know, tartan waistcoat and... Sure, okay, let's do, that's a small foot. Small foot for a big gal, come on. Big feetses. Better. There you go. I'll keep these separate just for the sake of aesthetics. Like that. Yeah, sense of depth. You love M. I also love M, and I will eventually do more things with M. M. Right. Okay. Line up. Wonderful. Such a wonderful design. She's nice. She was originally designed because I needed a drummer for a fake band. And I was like, what is the opposite of every other character in this? No, it's got to go sort of up like that so that it has the sort of front bit. And then hats. Hats are weird curves. I don't like them. Also, this hat is a little bit wobbly, so. Vaguely supernatural, slinky-loving drummer. Yes. Everything is rectangles. Rectangles do not work when curves are involved. I was tempted. Do I like that? Do I like that better? Not really. I might put it straight again. I was tempted actually to do a follow-up video to that perspective thing, talking about calculus, and explaining about calculus, because I realised that's all rectangles and lines as well. So everything is rectangles and lines. Differentiation is lines, integration is rectangles. You're sorted. I do like the idea of doing some sort of maths without the off-putting terminology videos at some point. Thought you were going to say maths without the maths. No. Well, kind of, in a sense, yeah, because what a lot of people think maths isn't what maths is, and I feel like, you know, it's worth a try trying to teach people about maths from the point of view of maths, rather than from the point of view of the stuff they probably already know, which isn't great, because the stuff that people probably already know are things that they learned under duress, that they don't want to know. You've worked enough with fractals to know that everything is also triangles. That is true. I guess you could also... No. I was trying to work out the way you could do integration with triangles. You can't really, can you? I mean, well, you could. Because you could do it as, like... Instead of using rectangles, you could use... trapezia. And you could split those up into two triangles. Make things easier. Anyway, to make them trapezia, see what I mean about terminology? It's completely unnecessary. It's almost as bad as music theory. I was going to do another video about music theory, and I'm like, there are so many different ways of saying one, like, oh, this is the fifth note, this is seven semitones up, it's also called the dominant. It's like, do you need all these names for one note? Why is it called the fifth note? Because it's 7 semitones up. Does that make things clear? And it's called the dominant. And then there's the subdominant, which is not called the subdominant because it's underneath, it's called the subdominant because it's the other way around. So the submediant, for example, is above the median. That makes sense. What? Make them trip easier. M's too busy to badumtish. M's a drummer. She can badumtish. And that was another thing I was going to do. My last album, I was going to make a kind of spoof behind the scenes documentary with the Outliers, as if they recorded it. So I do have a bunch of jokes on my computer somewhere about M being in a studio, knocking over a lot of instruments, probably. It's been a while since I looked at it. That's not quite how that's supposed to go. This is the problem when your line art, your sketch is done with a thick brush and your line art is done with a thin brush. It's like, where in this thick line am I supposed to put my thin line? What is M short for, or just M? I have several conflicting ideas. I feel like maybe like her middle name is Emma, but that's completely unrelated. One of the ideas I had was that she just, you know, back when she did speak, she used to stammer a lot. And hence. One of the other ideas was that I did have a story once about how she's, as somebody who doesn't speak, life's not going to be easy for you, and she spent a little bit of time living rough, should we say. And I had a little story about how Em and Malachi met. And I like the idea that the only box she could find that was big enough for her to sleep in was a McDonald's box. It had a big M on the side of it. And so that's how they got their name. Most of the technical terms were agreed on because it made someone's life easier, just maybe not you. Yeah. Anyway, her actual name's April, but that's unrelated. So that's does that answer your question? You know these things about your characters, and you're like, I'm never going to use this. But I know it, and that's part of it, you know? It's called April. In the same way that Malachi's first name is Eli. No, Josiah, isn't it? Yeah. Josiah, Abel, Malachi, Eli, Schwartz. That was the name. I remember my own jokes. I've got to account for buttons on these. Also, this should actually have an angle in it, shouldn't it? Yeah. Because that's where the lapel ends. So yeah, welcome to random information about my OCs. That's what you all came here for, right? Mal is a wonderful mess. That is a wonderful description of him, yes. Are there shoulder patches on this costume? I feel like there might be. No? Oh, okay. Thought there might be. I was mistaken. Yes, more please. Stoic is of unknown origin, but he does inexplicably know an awful lot about Atlantis. I don't know. I don't mind saying that. That was a joke in a comic that I'm probably never going to make. So. If you're feeling self-conscious, we could also talk about our own OCs. Go right ahead. I'm absolutely not going to stop you. I like hearing people get passionate about things that they find significant to themselves. It's one of those weird things I have of like I've never really got into like RPGs as a thing, tabletop RPGs and stuff like that, because of the cringe factor. But I do love hearing about people talking about the things they did in them, and you know their characters doing things. And looks at your own growing collection, yeah. And you said that about Stoic. Your first thought was, oh, so he's Atlantean, like Atlas. Yeah, I'm sure Stoic knew Atlas. I'm sure they got on like a house on fire. I.e. crumbling. The stripes are different lengths, aren't they? Okay, so we can mess around with it. You can see them get along, but largely because Stoic would leave Atlas alone. Stoic doesn't crave attention. Stoic is Atlas's best friend. They have interacted once. Wonderful, love it. There's a lot of colours going to go on here. We're already an hour into this. I usually finish these in an hour. Putting far more detail in than I usually do. Or far more attention, anyway. We can fit one more in there. Over here. These are all going to blend together. Nini craves all attention, and as such would hate Stoic. It would probably like him. Wouldn't get on with Malachi. Malachi also, well, when Malachi's in the mood, he craves attention. When he's not, stay away from him. Wibbly wibbly. Also, I get to show off a few little tips when I do this, which is going to be quite fun. Eventually I'll make videos on these and how you do them properly, because I can't really show you what I'm doing with layers, but there's a couple of things I've worked out how to do in this which I think are quite useful. So, primarily in colouring and shading and things like that, because I'm lazy and don't want to do it properly. Don't think any of your OCs like attention. That's perfectly acceptable. Yeah, I was going to do like a normal paper bag, but I think it's just like a white, sort of crumpled up bit of paper. Usually. Yes, I remember what the piece of paper we carries jelly babies around in. They also don't look like jelly babies. Probably because of branding. They're allowed to say jelly babies, but they don't look like them. No, wait, the one-eyed tiefling Briar. Gonna go with Briar. Like Richard Briars. She's an extroverted, attention-loving lady. Wonderful. Trying to think if any of your OCs like attention. I don't think any of mine unequivocally like attention. Well, probably PD. Does he count? Yeah, so you got this. Is there like a pocket watch or anything going on? It's Akiro. How's Akiro doing? Rufus obviously adores being the center of attention. Yes, definitely. Sure, that works. He definitely does. All eyes on him. He craves it. Watching his every move. Oh no. You got quite a few showmen in your OCs. Good control of the spotlight. Cool. Yeah, I think we had this conversation before of like how I'd be sort of ill-suited to a lot of RPG sort of action and expectations because I'd probably invent a character who was just there by accident and doesn't really want to be involved. Let's make these a bit stronger because I'm going to need to do some filling later. Still a good character concept, that's Atlas's entire character. Fair enough. If you do say so yourself. The reluctant hero is always good. You assume they're a hero. Is there a reluctant villain? I want a reluctant villain. I guess a lot of henchmen are like reluctant villains. That's sort of like, I'm just sort of doing my job, I don't really know what this is a weird plan, really, I don't know. Like the non-binarity or grumpy and wide. Look at every shoe I have ever drawn. Look at my command of the ability to draw shoes in exactly the same way every single time. Ah, the consistency. It's astonishing. Really should not put the effort into colouring the laces, but here we are. Also, I should add, poorly. I drew it poorly. Who needs perspective? Seen you draw heals. Yes, it's like it's like that. Done. There are reluctant villains, normally the ones that end up doing it on accident, necessity, or by force. I mean, that makes sense. There's not really many other options to be reluctant. Use the smaller eraser. You have 92,000 channel points. I should probably work out something to do with them, really. The problem is that all the things you can do with that are things that I have a bot for. So, I mean, you can unlock emotes, I guess, but I only have 2 emotes. I don't want to be a villain, but that's the only job with health insurance. Which is the opposite of the real world. Because if you're working for the villains in the real world, you don't get health insurance. Also, that doesn't... That should be... Yeah, that should be lower. Like that. Sure, we'll go with it. Oh yeah, you can do that. You can make a message stand out. You shall do this for every message until you run out. I don't like this. You also modify emotes, I give them hats. Yeah. I honestly thought I might get 2 done today, during this stream. I guess this is 1.5, but... Get it? Get it? T-0n? Tonbury? The problem is that when you make the messages stand out, because there's a message that says redeemed highlight my message, it actually makes it less easy to see what's going on in chat. Well done, Twitch. Good design. Oh no, that looks weird. That looks like that double-headed one I made for the last video. Then we started chatting and having a good time. Honestly, you being here, chatting with me, keeping me company, wasting my time with good chats. Honestly. No. Genetically engineered crops. It's just occurred to me I have no idea whether or not this soundtrack flags copyright systems. We'll find out, I guess. Be grateful you're here because this VOD may not exist. Did you say that target first instinct was threesome? Well, wrong way. It honestly just looks like the one on the left is running away from the one on the right with two swords. It's like, oh, no, I'm out of here. FTL, now it's fair use. No, it's not. It's not, it's copyrighted. People have this weird conception that game music is fair use, and it's not. It's usually game companies don't bother chasing these things because it discourages people from playing their game on a platform. But you absolutely can, as was evidenced by the number of times I had to edit Final Fantasy VIII videos. But we'll see. Fair use is not what a lot of people seem to think it is. You know, even streaming it in the game is arguably not fair use, but hey, copyright law, nobody's actually bothered to go to court about it, so no one's quite sure. Because that is the weird thing about copyright law. It's basically all decided in court, and no one's bothered to let it get that far. But companies have agreed to their own little rules so that they don't get sued. So there are just sort of takedown notices and that sort of thing. Turn it into a speed draw. I mean, the next one is a much simpler costume. And a much similar drawing of the character. Anyone want to hazard a guess as to what any of the future Doctors are going to be? What characters? Because I have them all planned out. Of course I do. Also, since we're talking about your OCs as well, what characters would you like to see your OCs dressed up as? Either in personality or fashion sense. Everybody, draw your OCs as a other fictional characters. Do it. I want to see your things. Val, Capaldi, Rufus Smith. Interesting choices. They give you more drawing ideas. But yeah, Mal's. I was umming and ahhing between Mal being Capaldi or Pertwee, but I think Pertwee might be a little too flamboyant for Mal, which is a weird thing to say. But he's like not into like ruffles and things like that, I guess. His taste is striking, but not ornamented, if that makes sense. Oops, all drawing ideas. All of them. Draw Atlas as stoic. No. And I have no idea how Dharma walks in this costume, but that's for them to ascertain. Who would your OC dress up as? Evie would probably dress up as Death from Sandman. Ooh. Don't know what the inside of this coat looks like. I'll give it a lining. I think we're ready to do colour. Let's make sure there's no gaps on the outside. Well, there's one way to find out. Okay, missing a tassel there. Otherwise, looks fine. Okay. That's probably what it was. Atlas with Stoics mask as face paint. How would that work? I mean, I've seen some people who do some really cool, like, optical illusion makeup stuff, but that would be tricky. Also, I forgot to add. Actually, which way is this going? This is this is going that way. Okay. I like this track. This is fun. Also, we haven't done this. Oh, God. I believe the story about this scarf was that the producer gave somebody like loads of balls of yarn and said, hey, I want to make a scarf. We don't really have any idea of what sort of scarf, so here's lots of wool and just make it up as you go. And they misinterpreted it and thought that they needed to use all of the wool. So that's how the scarf came to be. Of course, canonically, it was knitted by Nostradamus' wife. People think that hobgoblins are some of the cats from Cats. Oh, you capitulated so quickly there, Chippy. You didn't put up any fight. It's like, oh, fine. Hobgobs and leotards. If I must. Very easy to convince. Mistopheles and Rumtum-Tugger don't know how to write their names. I'm honestly surprised that Automod didn't pick you up on one of those. That seems like the sort of thing that they'd get obsessed with. Right, okay, colour. So what I need to do is I need to select. Is there an awful lot missing? Okay, so we're going to grab this and this. Grab all the outside if I can. There as well. I think it's close enough. Wonderful. Okay. Invert. Fill with white. Like that. So now, there we are. Don't know how they look nice. So now I can colour it in without worrying about going over the edges, although I might add some additional spill when I'm done, because, you know, I'm like that. Time for colouring. So look. Ah, look at that. Ah, it's amazing. Also, I keep wanting to do it with transparency, but it doesn't really work well with transparency. I should use a white after this. So these are sort of deliberately quite roughly coloured, because I like that in these sketches. So don't worry about going over the edges. It's fun. Does Automod still hate Hope? Apparently not. We're good. Let's get some dark orange again. Trying to getting M's hair color. Always a little bit of a tricky situation. Let's get bigger with this. Trying to simulate as much as I can sort of a watercolory sort of approach. So doing subtractive colouring where possible. By the way, I've been using the same brush this whole time. The sketch, for the line art, and for the colour. It's great. I like my pencil brush. I don't even know what it's called. It's in Japanese. Probably a bit premature to be doing that because we're going to have to do the hat. Good enough for now. I'll come back to that. Mini's gotten to the point that she can 1v1 trolls. Nice. Let's get some... I always do my colours too dark in this phase. I'm going to have to lighten them later. That's fine. So that's as dark as they should get. Let's get some sort of grey colours. Teeth. Nothing too major, but I do need to make sure there's some colour here. Oh no, I've got the white thing. Oh, I don't have to do that at all. Oh, brilliant. Wonderful. The past me is smart. Okay. Right, what colour is the costume? That's not a very good picture. I need better colours. Lots of different shades of brown going on here. I'm going to go with the red coat. And the sort of reddy, darky brown. That for the hat. That's nice. Please, can you have this brush? Yes. Do you have Clip Studio? In which case I will direct you to it in the Clip Studio thing. Because Clip Studio has a nice place where people share resources. A less popular novel series, 50 Shades of Brown. That's yeah, that's the less hygienic version of the book. I know you have Procreate because Clip Studio is sneaky about getting your money if you buy it on your iPad. Yeah, that is a problem. They have their subscription thing. That's the reason I went to Clip Studio, is because it didn't have a subscription thing. Is there a way you can convert... Oh, what am I doing? One of the great things about Clip Studio, though, is you can use your brush with a transparent colour, so you can just use it as an eraser and keep the texture, which is great. Yeah, I'm trying to work... is there a way that you can import... I'll look it up. I'll see if I can export the textures and things into a format that can be read by Procreate. Because I have Procreate as well, so I can test that out. Let's also get this for the thing. Oh, there's a lot of color on this, isn't there? Right, let's just slap down some red. Let's just get this red. Doesn't matter what we're going to get it on, we just need to get it on everything that the coat's involved in. We'll work the rest out later. It's fine. This is not how you paint, but we're not painting. Whoops. Okay, let's get this sorted. I will go through and do a shadow pass at the end, but sometimes you don't need to for individual bits. Also, we'll have a velvety effect as well, so we'll do some rim lighting. Do some Fresnel. You changed your mind about the hobgoblins, cats from cats thing. They're much more suited to Rocky Horror. One day I will see Rocky Horror. One day I will see everything. No, I won't. One day I'll see a lot of the things that I said I will eventually see. How about that? That works. This is also red, I think. This is sort of brighter red. It's also quite shiny. Change your mad about it because it is. You can stick some fluff on them. Really big long cat ears. Like a lynx. How many people have not seen Rocky Horror? I'm gonna guess around 6 billion. Okay, so in this picture, yeah, there's kind of like a Rupert sort of waistcoat thing going on. Do the stuff underneath before you do the stuff on top. So let's go with something like that. No, actually, a little bit warmer, a little bit lighter. Okay, let's just lighten this up a bit because it's exposed. And now we can do sort of like people know what I say when I say that it's like Rupert the Bear? Is Rupert the Bear a recognisable reference these days? Let's make that a bit clear. Did they do Time Warp in Rocky Horror? That is the one thing I really know. Time Warp and Tim Curry. And that it was made by Richard O'Brien, who hosted Crystal Maze. I went to liberal arts school. At least one organisation did a showing of it every year. I did performing arts at my school. I have a BTEC in performing arts, which is apparently a qualification. And I never saw it. So we did Little Shop of Horrors, though. I played Seymour because I was the most awkward. Okay, that's fine. Then there's sort of like bluey greeny trousers. This is an odd costume. Then again, I am sort of mixed matching costumes because this has a brown coat. Okay, let's go with a more coherent colour scheme. Let's go with these sort of light browny grey trousers. So actually, that's not too far off. Yeah, about that. You would agree we never did a single musical because we outvoted our lecturers for 4 years. Well, all right then. We had the opposite. We had a similar problem in secondary school of people just not wanting to do the things that the teacher said that they should do. They didn't get good grades. We were doing a thing called Pippin, which was odd. I think it was like retelling the story of King Charlemagne or something, but in a really sort of like toy soldiers stylized sort of way. It was a weird thing. But me and my friend, we also got to do a kind of Rat Pack thing where he played Sinatra and I played Dean Martin. So that was fun. Shouldn't have taught us how to pitch and push for what we wanted. Look, I was really annoyed because the year before us in English Lit, got to do 1984. And we had to do, I think, To Kill a Mockingbird. I was like, that means To Kill a Mockingbird is not the worst story in the world, but it's just like, 1984. It's like my favourite novel. Which, I mean, is not high praise. I don't really like novels. I prefer short stories. But, point being, this shoe doesn't have laces. Don't worry about it. His name Pippin. You guess that makes sense if you remember correctly. Charlemagne's son was named Pippin. It's probably about Pippin then. That, and some of that, some of this business, and then some of this business, like that, and then a little bit of that business, because why not? We also need. Oh, this is. I honestly thought we would do 2 today. Are we gonna finish 1? Maybe we'll finish 1. Has the music stopped? The music might have stopped. It wasn't a 2-hour video, so we'll start it again. There we go. Laces on the shoe are tucked in. That's fair. I can expect M to tuck in only one of her sets of shoelaces. That's too much business. I forgot what I said. What are we talking about? What colours are the jelly babies? So some green ones and some yellows. Well, we're gonna spend time with you and Em. It's a good time. I'm glad. Okay, so the rest of the scarf. Actually, the rest of the scarf, I can use this as a blank. Let's get rid of the red because it's a bit too strong. Can't do this with watercolor. I know, I tried. Oops. Oh no, I used a different brush. There goes the one brush rule. The annoying thing is I'm probably going to have to add red to some of this, but here we are. Right, let's try and get this all roughly down. It's a small village just outside Cirencester. Right, that was a rule? Yeah, no, it wasn't. It's fine. Don't think about it. So let's just get rough shading in here, and then we'll sort out sort of colours for the scarf. You know, tick. Not shiny, is it? Okay, well, right. Got to get in quick to try and lift watercolours, yeah. And now that you think about it, you broke the rule! Yes, Mrs. idea of banning has absolutely nothing to do with the mod powers in Twitch. It's entirely knife-based. Right, let's get some ochre, sort of ochre yellowy sort of colours going on here. Let's get some stripes like that. Like this. And then one here, let's say. Then one there. One over here. One like that. Small one up here. That one. And that one. This one here, the one to end with, and then this tassel, and this tassel. Right. Now let's go for a sort of burnt orangey colour. We can end with that one. Being banned has nothing to do with Twitch. Miss just etches your name into the ban wall with her knife. That's scary. If I was a proper Doctor Who nerd, I would actually try and follow the real pattern of this scarf. I'm just making it up. This one down here. Move that one in there as well. And this here. That there. This tassel comes out there. And this tassel. How dare you, fake fan? I know. Then there's a sort of slightly desaturated dark purple. There, and then it's here. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think there'd be a lot of colouring in this one. Seems a bit naive now. Tassel. Tassel. What else? There's a slightly darker browny, slightly darker but still light browny colour. This is fun, right? You like watching this on twitch.com. Is there anything else? There's a kind of bluey bit. It's a little greeny and blue. That seems right. This bit doesn't need to be much. Okay, I'll live with that. Let's get that shading back on. Oh, now this little light of mine's in my head. I blame Chibi. Oops. No.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Pretty sure I said no. Oh yeah, we wanted to not finish this coat. Okay, a little bit of a velvet sheen. Gotta be careful to make velvet sheen not look like metal. That's alright. It's a nice rough. Maybe a bit too rough. Smoothen some of these edges a bit. Set it to Nate. Guess your name on the band wall will get banged with a knife. Can you raise the red on the knuckle? Oh yeah. Yeah, don't want to look at like. Don't want it to look like Em's been in a fist fight. She's part of Fight Club, but she'll never tell anyone. Okay, Thornbury. I'm already on green. That's quite nice. Dama. Seek and you will find truth within your mind. Dama. Right. On to K9, K9, K9. Right, so generally speaking, it's got a sort of metallic blue affair going on. Nope, forgot to do the tail. Get back to that. What else is going on? Tartan collar. Let's grab some of the red. Right. This. Do. Never on board yet. Let's make this a bit. Bit sharper than that. Cool. We were bored you wouldn't be here. Well, no one was talking, so I just assumed. Sorry, that sounded very... You must talk! I have issues with ego. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I do struggle with it from time to time, but... Hey, at least I struggle with it rather than ignore it. My name might get banged. Well, what my name does in its private time is none of my business. Isn't it dark tonight? I know. The streetlights are on. How about the sports team? Yes. Okay, was I gonna do face paint? Probably. Okay, so let's just do that as a top layer. So I guess we still want this sort of colour. We could do it like sort of that. Oh, hang on, we could do it as hue. Yeah. Sports team name did good. They really scored those points and won the big game. I know. I'm so pleased. Because when you're playing where they are, you just, I mean... Does the Tombury want to be in the costume? The Tombury will do nothing that it doesn't want to. They will not let anybody do anything to it that it doesn't want to happen. Okay. So that's... Okay, let me just adjust. Because these... I prefer if these are a bit lighter like that. You know, that's fine. Like that. We can boost the saturation a little bit. Okay. Let's do some... okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pick a colour. That'll do. And I'll just put in some random shadows where I think it needs darkening a bit on a multiply layer. Okay, so these are going to be blue shadows because I picked a blue. So I'll just do this. Usually it joins like this. On faces that are facing away from the light source, which is going to come from up here. Usually I do this stage to give a general sense of structure. If it's lacking one. Now this isn't going to look great, but I'm going to show you a thing. In fact, I should probably turn this into a red, but I can do that in a sec after I've done with it. It's a tip. It's a tip. I was going to make a video on this. I probably will. But it's a tip. Spoiling the surprise. It's a top snip. Not that other name. No, siree. Where's Tip? I will dress Tip up as Adric. How about that? Actually, that's not fair. I'm not going to spoil that if anyone wants to watch Classic Who. But that's not fair. That's what I'm saying. Who would be the Tip? I mean, Adric kind of makes sense. They always seem to know the answer to the problem. But they're annoying about it, and Tip's nice. Okay, right, so... what I'm now going to do, because this sort of dulls the colour, it gets to be Jack Harkness. Oh, do I have any characters with that kind of charisma? I guess Malachi would be the closest, but he's like the evil Jack Harkness. Anyway, right, cool. You can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm going to do a thing. So here's the multiply layer. I'm going to put it in a multiply folder rather than a layer, which does the same thing. But then, inside the folder, I'm going to take a copy of the colour. And I'm going to change it to hue. And now the colour matches the hue of the picture. Look at that. The shadows are now the right colour. And if I take it off, there's the blue that I made. But now it's colourful. And I had to do no work. It's amazing. Hopefully that comes out on stream. That these are different. It's not good for realistic colouring, but for cartoon stuff, great. I worked that out while doing October, and it saves me so much time. They look different. You're just confused. Basically, I've taken. So I did all of the. I did all of the shading. This layer here. Hang on, it's saving. So this layer here that I'm turning on and off. This is a blue color. I just got a blue. I got this blue. Be precise. That blue. And did all the shading in that. But by putting it in a folder that's a multiply, I can affect the color of the layer before it turns into a multiply layer. So I just copied the color layer, this thing here. Copied that, put it in the folder with the layer that's supposed to be multiplying, turn it to hue, and then it changes the hue of the layer underneath, so all the colours that were blue are now the colours of the picture underneath it. So it's multiplying with respect to the colour that's underneath it. I would love it if there was a layer that did that automatically, but here we are. Now, if you were actually painting this, you would pick, okay, well, I want a shadow for the hair, so I'm gonna pick an orange to do the shadow for the hair. I would need a brown here, gonna pick a brown to do the shadow. This way, you don't need to bother. It's great. Okay, so that's that done. Now we can do the final finishing touches. Let's get some paper in here. Let's go to my go-to picture paper. It's this one. Boom. There it is. It's too small. Don't worry about it. That's fine. I am going to uniform the colour because you can see the sort of like greeny, bluey patches. Don't like that. So let's put a hue layer on top of that. Just why is that not working? Oh, colour layer. Sorry. Yeah, that's better. So that's maybe a bit subtle to see on screen, but it looks nicer to me. Right. That's there. Now what we do is we put everything in one big old normal layer, a normal folder. Put this on top of it and multiply. Boom. So now it looks like it's on the paper. We go in and adjust the colour so that it looks a little brighter. Like that. And now we go on top of this and add white highlights so that it feels a bit more on paper. Nothing really all that shiny on M in this picture, but you know. There's the cravat, which now looks like it's made out of gelatin or something, but we can but try. That looks velvety, right? What? Chris is a sorceress. I'm the sorceress of colour? No, that's not right. I'm terrible with colours. I just know cheats. I am to sorceresses what Darren Brown is to magicians. Or Darren Brown is to psychics, I should say. Darren Brown is a magician. I'm not a real one, but I know the tricks. Second mention of Darren Brown this stream. You have to go get dinner. Have a wonderful dinner. Thank you for popping along. Yeah, you have a good week too. Yeah, that should be blue. Oh, actually, what I can do is I can change the colour. Let's get a big... Well, it's just a block, so... I can change the colour that's being multiplied for the shadow. Make that blue. Ooh, that looks interesting. So look, I'm just changing the shadow colour here. Although I am going to change that to be... Oh yeah, because the paper's brown is going to accentuate browns, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. That looks better. Marvellous. Now, final touch. Completely unnecessary, and almost certainly nobody will notice it but me. But I learned this while trying to make my Avonvale things look more like old concept art. So we take the line art, we make it a little bit brighter. Never have pure black. I wanted to make this look like a scan, like an old scan of a picture. So this is now a slightly lighter grey. I'm going to make a copy of it. Let's take off the first one. Set this... Actually, we'll probably make this a bit brighter and set it to multiply. That's quite nice. Okay, and then underneath that, we have this other one, which I'm going to blur. Just a tad. I'm then going to make it brown. Like that. And set it to colour burn. Now, if I put the two together, and adjust it slightly. Let's make it a bit lighter. Make this a bit darker again. There we go. And that, because what I noticed is that in old scans of pencil sketches and things, the line art looked slightly orange, slightly yellow. Maybe make this a little bit more yellow. So I worked out a way of making it do that in real. You can probably see the difference there. You don't really notice it when you zoomed out, but if you take it away, you might be able to just about see the difference in it. Also, just for personal satisfaction, I'm going to add a bit of spill, a bit of artificial overspill. Also, I should probably do this with white. I used to just leave spills there naturally, but because of the workflow I have at the moment, I actually take them out automatically, and now I want to add them back in because I quite like it every now and then. A little bit of roughness around the edges. Only where there was roughness in the first place. If there was no roughness, I can't add any in. Makes the whole image warmer too. Exactly. That's what I like about it. Because the Avonvale thing was all about sort of coziness and warmth. Also, I've just realised there's a slight issue with the highlights here. That's fine. If I lock that and go like this. Is that going to work? Why is that still blue? Or maybe because it was blue to begin with. Oops. Stop, stop. Do the thing. There we go. Look at that. It doesn't quite work in places where there's no colour underneath. Like their hair has a similar thing going on here as well. But you know, in general it'll save time. Right. And I think that's it. I think we're done. The roughness does fit this rendering stuff, yeah. So that's number 4. Also, I never flipped this. This was supposed to be the other way around, wasn't it? I mean, these characters are symmetrical, so it doesn't matter too much, but gonna do it anyway. Oh no, things don't look right this way around. Should have done it after the line art, to check the line art. The hat's a little weird. Never mind. Never mind. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, so for those of you who didn't see the other 3, because this is obviously the 4th one, here was the first, the Stoic. Here's a second with Pal, because the second plays a recorder. And after a few clicks, there's the third with Flynn. Just leave it flip the other way. No, because the problems are still there, I just can't see them. The problems don't go away when you flip them. You're just blind to them. Yeah, oh well, it's fine. Yeah. Hide the problems. Bury them. Yeah. So that's that. That's a thing. Really, honestly thought I'd do 2, but oh well, it's fine. I'll do another one tomorrow morning. And then I have some Patreon things to do, and then try and design a Woodlouse logo for a friend. If you can't see the problems, they're not there. That's the rule. I mean, art's a visual medium, and if you can't see it, then it's a wonderful thing. I'm glad you like it. The next one is a character no one likes. So don't worry about it. Who is it? I'll give you 3 guesses. You'll probably get it in 1. There's not many characters I make that people don't like, because I like making characters I like. Who is it? You and your jokes. Also, I've saved this as a time lapse, so I'll stick that up for the patrons. How can I go? Zoom. Did a lot of sketching. Okay, that's almost half of this entire thing was the first sketch. So maybe the colouring didn't take too long. Yeah, colouring was the shortest part. Yeah. Alright, I'll do that after the stream. Can't think of any of your characters that you don't like. Can you think of one you don't like? We just don't see much of them. I mean, when I say you don't like them, I guess it's probably more accurate to say that you don't like them, but you don't necessarily dislike them. Anyway, end of stream. I don't think I have any characters that I actively dislike. I did once, and then I wrote them out, because I don't like them. No, we literally don't see much of... Oh, I missed that. Oh, I missed it. You're right, though, yes. Your puns are so good. They're just flying over my head. That was why I thought we'd get another one in. Because I'm like, well, all I have to do is draw the costume. So, yeah. This is when the costumes start diverging, though. We no longer get a nice big, thick coat. But yeah. So how many are there? There have been 14 Doctors now. So yeah, I have another 10 to go. You like Griff as a concept. The thing is, you have to have someone like that in an office. That's the thing. You like him as a concept, not as a person. That's fair. Because he's yeah. Don't worry, I'm next week I'm going to start drawing a comic in which Tori really annoys him. So yeah, but I'm also going to draw a comic in which, oh no, that's a bit later. There's also a comic where Griff gets his revenge, but that's fine. There's a back and forth. I like them as a double act. I like the sort of sweet, innocent, bumbling idiot of Tori and the fed up, serious, straight man of Griff. They work well together. By which I mean they do not work well together. But they work well as a comic. Yeah. Great character. Would love to punch him. That works. Many have tried. Yeah. So that's that. They work well together for the sake of comedy. Absolutely. Well, hopefully. I'm not to judge. How many have succeeded? Don't know. I imagine he's surprisingly nimble. Although that might just be through practice. So, yeah. Maybe he's not even there. Maybe he is incorporeal, which would be even more annoying. Probably Griff is good at everything. He's yeah. I wanted, like, because there's the trope of the person who thinks he knows everything but knows nothing. And I just wanted to have a character who thinks he knows everything and he kind of does. And it's just even more annoying. You know he's right. Tori taped him up easy enough. That's true. He taped up the gloves. The gloves are corporeal. Anywhere there's clothes, you can interact with them. These are weird rules. Yeah. I mean, at least Griff's nice enough to actually wear clothes. Which is not a given for an invisible man. Yeah, so yeah, I've got 10 more of these to do. All the outliers are in there. It's mostly October, obviously, because that's where most of my characters are. Beth makes an appearance. See if you can guess where Beth's gonna be. But other than that, yeah. I'm so glad he isn't naked now you mention it. Yeah, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to Beth. Beth's gonna look cool. I'd be very surprised if you work out which it's gonna be though. So yeah. Hope everyone has a grand old time. The next stream I'm gonna be doing is gonna be on a Tuesday. Bling, like that. And all being well, and Ragdoll being okay in here, we might have a crack at rewriting Final Fantasy VIII with their ideas with regards to knighthood and all these sorts of things, which sound interesting. We've already done one rewrite. We did the minimum viable product, where we cut a lot of stuff out, which I thought was very good. That was very nice. GB came up with some good ideas in that one. Yeah, so we're just going to keep rewriting this until I'm finished with the setting up the next draw through. There's a lot of setup. I am trying. But once they're set up, I was going to say once they're set up, there's not going to be a lot of work to do. I still got to do the draw through though. So, yeah. Sorry for missing your life and such. No worries. Everyone, like, no one. I try and structure these things so that nobody has to be here, and that I could do it on my own, so that even if you are here, you don't have to get involved. You know, even if you just want to watch this stream and just not chat, you just want to lurk. That's fine. Because that's what I do in streams. Yeah. So that's that. So yeah. What is that? What am I? What am I looking at? What am I looking at? I see it's got the word lurk in it, so I understand what. Don't worry about her. It's her. Like, where? She's fine. Okay, sure. I'll take your word for it. I have enough problems in my brain. Don't need another one. Right. Which peeking you from around the corner? Why can I, even after an explanation, I still can't see it? I get the head's tilted to the side. Can I, do I? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that one. Every now and then you do an exam, you come up to a question and you're like, I could spend the next 20 minutes working on this and not getting anywhere, or I could skip it and just move on to the next question. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Thanks for coming to the stream. Hope you had a nice relaxing time. Nonsense, slightly less nonsense than the usual Tuesday nonsense on Tuesday. More relaxing Opus Magnum times on Wednesday. Hopefully we'll finish it. Saturday, who knows? If we finish Opus Magnum, maybe I'll drag Chibi in to do Chaos Chess, because why not? Yeah. And then Sunday, probably something creative. Who knows? I don't. Drag you. That's a weird thing to say out of context. And if that fails, we can just play some of the other stupid games that I haven't tested. Yeah. Have a wonderful time, everyone. Have a great week. Because apparently it's Sunday. I don't know where Saturday went. Yeah. Enjoy yourselves. Have a wonderful time. I need to get music up. I always start doing the outro and then think, oh, I haven't got music. Oh, I've got the FTL soundtrack, but that's not really an ending music, is it? But you know, by now you say a lot of weird things. That's fair. That's fair. I've got to speak solidly for 2 hours. I say all sorts of weird things. It's fine. TTFN. To the future now. What? Let's get some music. Let's get some music. How about this? I haven't played this for a while. Posture, thank you very much. See you around. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy yourselves. Goodbye.